If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Tuesday, May 28th, 2013. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. In a couple of days, the George Haynes International Swim Center in Santa Clara, California will be brimming with Olympians as the Arena Grand Prix comes to a close. This will be the 46th year that Santa Clara Swim Club has hosted this prestigious meet that has seen a couple of world records and plenty of good racing in the final stages of preparation for the end of the long course season. Joining me shortly in the Finis Monitor will be John Bitter. He's the head coach at Santa Clara, a position he's had for nearly 7 years now. And John joins us now from Santa Clara. Coach, it's good to see you. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
How's the weather up there in Santa Clara? I know it's always a little bit iffy this time of year.
Right now it's nice and sunny, but of course it's cool. We always have a nice wind that comes through here in the afternoon, which anyone who's come to our meet knows that the wind definitely plays a factor if you're swimming a 50 at night. So we have one way that can be a little slower, one way that can be a little faster, depending on how the wind's blowing at night.
Absolutely. So how are preparations going for this meet?
They're going very, very well. We're winding it down as far as all the background stuff that needs to be done. We have our TV stands up and they're ready to go. We've gotten all the product in that we need from Arena and from United States Swimming, so it's just a matter of setting everything up, and we're starting that today as part of putting up the fencing and taking care of all the logistical stuff around the pool to make sure it looks the way we want it to look.
Well, I imagine with this being the 46th year of the meet, it kind of is second nature for the team to get this all set up.
Yes, it is. It's kind of old hat now, and our parents are fantastic in knowing kind of how I want the pool to look. Even though I've only been head coach since 2007, I've been here since 1995. So I've set up many of these, and everyone kind of knows what I want it to look like and how I like the pool to look. And we want to make sure that we show off this pool for how great it is.
How did this meet get started 46 years ago?
George Haynes started this meet as a way to basically bring foreign athletes into this country and introduce them to the Bay Area, and to also allow swimmers from the United States to be able to compete against foreign athletes in competition outside of the Olympic Games or World Championships, because in those days there weren't that many opportunities to actually race outside of the Olympic Games or World Championships against people who were not not Americans if you were an American swimmer. So he kind of made this a festival. He used to actually have diving involved at the same time that he had the swimming. So it was actually a swim and dive meet for the initial years that it was started.
Yeah, just so many big names have come through this meet, not just Americans, but foreigners. And then over the years, as I said, a couple world records have been broken. I specifically remember Michael Phelps going up against Yanni Sievenen's world record in that 200 IM, I believe it was 2003, kind of the start of his greatness in the IM events. What keeps this meet being so popular over the years?
I think, a lot of it's a tradition of what was started. The fact that we have such an exciting field of competition from not just the United States, but like I said, from all over the world. And there's it's kind of like going to, as I've many times said, it's kind of like going to Lambeau Field in football. This place has been around since 1967. George started this club in 1951. The history of the amount of swimmers who've come out of this club and made the Olympic team it kind of has a nostalgia about it, and the tradition is definitely there. And also the Bay Area is a nice place for a lot of people to come for a swim meet. Even though the weather may not be, warm like in Arizona, it's still, California is not a bad place. Not a bad place to come for a swim meet.
Well, we know a lot of the big names that are going to be there at the meet: Missy Franklin, Ryan Lochte, Nathan Adrian, Dana Vollmer, and so on and so on. Who could we expect to see up there near the top from Santa Clara?
Well, we have a young man who he actually just won CCS, which is our California Central Coast for swimming for high school. He just won the 200 and the 500 2 weeks ago. Aiden Burns. He's a 15-year-old. He's ready to have a great meet. We have a couple other girls on Sandra So, Sarah, I can't even pronounce. Sorry, Sarah Shimamura, Catherine Ladd. These three girls were part of a relay that won juniors back in December. Unfortunately, with our meet being what it is, we have several kids who also are graduating at this time of year. So some of them are going to swim Friday and Sunday. They won't be there on Saturday because they have to go to graduations or they have to watch their sisters graduate. So for us, this is an important meet for our swim team, but we don't really rest a lot for this time of year just because we just got done with high school, and we're looking to have great end of the season in August swim. So we'll swim through this pretty much, but we still have a lot of young kids, 15, 16-year-old kids who should be very, very competitive at this meet.
Well, this is obviously the biggest meet that Santa Clara Swim Club hosts every year. What is the effect that it has? What's the trickle-down effect that it has on the younger swimmers who are, I would imagine, volunteer at this meet and get to kind of rub shoulders with some of the best in the world?
Jeff, I think you hit it right on the head. I think that's the biggest thing about this meet is that we utilize our younger kids for a lot of, they work the parade, they work in different areas throughout the meet, and so they get to rub shoulders, as you said, with the Ryan Lochte's and Missy Franklins, Dana Vollmer, Natalie Coughlin. I can go down the list of all the people who will be here, and it kind of gives those younger kids that they have something to look to, and they can see what these athletes do to get ready to race, how they compose themselves, how they handle themselves, and then they get to watch some really great races every day for 3.5 days. And so it's a big inspiration for our younger kids to be able to see this. It's a big inspiration for the whole Bay Area, and that's why I really love this meet, is that it provides the Bay Area with an opportunity to see the best swimming in the world come to our area once a year. And the people who come put on a great show, and we're very happy to have them every year.
And it's never disappointed, I can tell you that, having swum in it and attended as a spectator many years. So as you said, you've been there since 1995, so you've seen a lot of the evolution of Santa Clara Swim Club over the years. What's the outlook for the team in the next 3 or 4 years?
Well, we just started a feasibility study to redo the International Swim Center. We hired an architectural firm back in the fall to come up with a conceptual design for a new International Swim Center, which would be a 250-meter pool complex, separate diving well, and a separate training pool for lessons. The City Council of Santa Clara overwhelmingly approved the concept, and they basically have now put into our court to come up with the funding needed to make this happen. The city is doing a feasibility study on operations. We're doing one on fundraising, and then we're going to meet again in the fall and kind of see where we both are at in this process. It's an exciting time. The 49er Stadium is being built not too far from where I work every day. We just got the Super Bowl in Santa Clara on Tuesday, so the synergy and the excitement in the city of Santa Clara right now is very high. And so they're looking at this as their next big project they really would like to see happen. They know the importance of swimming to this community. I'm sure your magazine has published, about the Swimming Hall of Fame is looking at this area. So this is an area that is growing very rapidly with a lot of interest from a lot of different people to make things happen in Santa Clara. So for me, being here for as long as I have been, it's exciting for me to watch, and it's also exciting for me to be a part of. So that's kind of where we're at right now in this next 3-year project, is that we're trying to find the money, raise the money to be able to build this new International Swim Center that will be the latest in the state of the art in facilities. When this pool was built in '67, it was the state of the art. We now would like to have the next generation of state of the art facilities going forward.
Well, it sounds like you need to get in there and strike while the iron's hot, while all the city council is just approving all this construction and all these great athletic events are coming in.
I agree.
So if this all goes as planned and everything kind of goes smoothly, what would the likely start date be for construction of this new facility?
I would say 2 years. If everything fell in place, the operational feasibility study comes back the way the city feels that they can manage this facility. We come back with our fundraising feasibility study where we can earmark certain people who would be, or certain groups or companies or whatever it may be, who are excited about participating in this. We're looking at probably a 2-year process of getting to that point of, okay, the city will say, no, we'll give you the land, you build it, and then we're going to give it back to you to run it. And that's kind of where we're at as far as the timetable looking at this, making this happen.
And then you had mentioned the Hall of Fame expressing some interest in being out there. Do all the plans have that in consideration, that the Hall of Fame could conceivably be a part of this new facility?
In the original plans that we had done up, no. But that doesn't mean that that's not something that that may go on in discussions behind the scenes. Right now, as we tell everyone, everything's a possibility. We got the ball rolling by making, by hiring an architect, coming up with the conceptual drawings of what we would like to see this facility look like, getting the approval from the city council to move forward in the next step of the process, and everything else is kind of on the table as far as discussion. There's a lot of different discussion going on. I won't about where this facility may end up being. Where will it be in conjunction with the Swimming Hall of Fame if the Swimming Hall of Fame moves out here? So there's a lot of different parts that are interchangeable and moving constantly. That to say that it will be one way or the other, I couldn't tell you that right now.
Well, I'm sure I speak for the rest of the swimming community when I say that we're excited to see the next phase of the George Haynes Aquatic Center. So keep us informed of how this all goes in the future.
We sure will. We sure will.
All right, John, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you out there on deck at the Arena Grand Prix, and good luck to the Santa Clara swim team.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you. Thanks.
All right, so that was Santa Clara Swim Club head coach John Bitter joining us in the Finis Monitor, and that will do it for today's edition of the Morning Swim Show. Swimming World will be covering the final leg of the Arena Grand Prix from all angles in Santa Clara. I will be on deck bringing you video interviews and participating in our regular race day analysis shows, so stay with swimmingworld.com all week. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.